Hey guys, what's up? So, just wanted to do a little bit of a stream here today about some stuff that's been on my mind. And let me make sure you guys can hear me okay. Duh, 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 duh. Okay, I got some people following right now. Let's see if I can turn this down. All right, seem to be coming through okay. Let me see. Yep. Okay. So going through. Okay, here we go. Okay, awesome. So I just wanted to bring up some stuff that's been kind of on my mind recently that's been brought to my attention. So Um, yeah, let me just share my screen real quick, and we will go from there. Yeah, so pretty much it just has to do with like everything that's been going on with like in Pakistan and with everything that's been going on kind of across the world. So I just wanted to bring this. Okay, cool. RJ says sound is fine. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Thanks for letting me know. Thanks. Um, yeah, so I just wanted to bring this up because this has been something on my mind. I saw stuff with like Apostate Prophet. I saw stuff with, like, even David Wood, he's been saying stuff, and so it's just, it's kind of it's not really blowing my mind, but at the same time it is because it's like, this isn't new, you know what I mean? And just seeing the atrocities that's happening, like, let me actually share my screen here, like, have you guys been hearing about this at all? If so, if you're in the comment section, leave a 1 in the comment section if you've been hearing about this recently. If not, put a 2 if this is new to you, because this has been, you know, going on for a minute, and it's just crazy seeing this happening, and some people made a good comment about, like, if the roles were switched or if it was, like, somebody else of a different group, oh, there'd be huge uproar about it, but I'm not seeing much news coverage about this. I'm not seeing anything about this, and just to see this kind of atrocities, it's just insane, absolutely insane. Like, here's a little just to see right here. I mean, let's take a look. First off, let me know if you guys can hear that okay. Let me actually redo that. Yep, okay. There we go. So apparently that's not the only one. There's a whole bunch of them apparently, like, happening. Like, here's another one right here. Turn it down. What was that supposed to do? RJ says, I saw the video buried in the world section of one news outlet. The outlet had all kinds of sensational news leading. So are you saying that they were covering this, or are you saying that they had this, like, buried under, like, a whole bunch of other stuff, like, it was just kind of a snippet? Let me know what you mean by that. The same video. So, yeah, it is. Oh, well. It'd be okay if I get I mean, there's ways to get around that, but just wanted to kinda show you guys, like, kinda the things that's been happening because when it comes to this kinda stuff, it's just like, oh, yeah, Sky. Oh, I thought you meant about the video that we're watching right now. This is an actual live stream, by the way, just FYI. But what is crazy to me is we see this whole flux of people that are supposedly, like, converting to Islam, and this is what we see. And this is, like, what the kinda stuff that we do see around, you know no, you're good. Sky was like, "Oh, my bad." No, but, like, it's just crazy. Like, we see people who like, with these atrocities that are happening all across the world, and yet it's like, "Oh, but that's not Islam. That's not what the Quran teaches." If I'm not mistaken, though, wasn't there not a statistic that came out that literally said the majority more like, literally, it's more than half believed that this was, like, true Islam when it became to a worldwide, like, census based on the Muslim populated countries? Like, I mean, like, for example, like, the whole Andrew Tate Sneako thing that's been going on that everybody's been blowing up about. It's like, even Andrew Tate talks about how this is why he believes in Islam, because nobody would mess with it. And actually, it's funny? Sam Harris actually came out recently and said something about this as well. Let me see if I can get this pulled up real quick. Yep, here it is. Actually, here it is right here. Haha. Let me get it pulled up. Ooh, Islam is the truth. Okay, Big Mahmoud. So this one is specifically for you then. Let me know, okay? Because let me know, is this the true Islam? Right here. This video that we just watched. I don't know what that was. And let me go back a little bit. Religious violence has erupted in Pakistan over accusations of blasphemy. Yep. And then RJ actually just made a good point. Pakistan is number 3 on the list with the most human rights violations. These kinds of things literally happen daily in Pakistan and are documented. As a matter of fact, it's interesting that you say that. So let's hold this thought right here. I want to bring something up real quick. Let me share this. When it comes to the 50 countries where it's most dangerous to follow Jesus in 2021. And let me get this off real quick. If we look here, where it's the hardest to be Christian 2021, and this isn't like this isn't like hard to be a Christian, like, oh, it's so hard to be a Christian. Look at what it teaches and everything. No, it's hard to be a Christian because of what other people do to these Christians. That's what this is referring to. And let me see. Let me see. This is back in January of 2021. So literally 2 years ago. Not that long at all. And hardest places to follow Jesus: North Korea, Afghanistan, Somalia, Libya, Pakistan. Pakistan's number 5. North Korea is number 1. Afghanistan's number 2. And not even gonna go into the, atrocities about what's been happening in Afghanistan. And India, Iran, Yemen. And then when it comes to where Christians face the most violence, Pakistan, Nigeria, Democratic Republic of Congo, going on, Ethiopia, of all places, which is ironic too, because one of the first um, places where Christians, one of the first, actually, what's ironic is like Africa was one of the first places that actually became like that held like Christian, or where people were Christians. There was a lot of Africans before the rest of the world became Christians, and that was in Ethiopia of all places. where we still have like the Ethiopian Bible, which there was a huge thing about that just recently came out. But it's interesting because this is happening all across the world. Hold on. This is interesting. This is karma. In the Middle Ages, you guys, anyone who followed a different religion, you guys also, Native Indians, this is karma. That's so ironic because I wanna bring that up real quick. It's interesting because Christianity is not the reason why those things happen. Mankind, faulty, unperfect man is the reason why those things happen. Yet, that's why I was asking Big Mahmoud, Big Big Mahmoud, when it comes to Islam, I just wanna ask, is this what your religion teaches? Beat metal with metal for no reason whatsoever. Yeah, so there's that. But also, I remember there was a year ago, there was a man that was literally burned in Pakistan who was a Christian, and you have videos of people beating this guy, literally set him on fire in the streets in Pakistan. One man in a crowd of hundreds. Big Mahmoud. Is that what Islam teaches? Is that what your prophet stood for? I'm just curious because that has nothing to do with karma. That has to do with people actually being or actually believing that this is Mandalorian, this is the way, that this is how it should be. Not because of karma, but simply just put because why? Because you say that people in the Middle Ages, anyone who followed different religion, you guys, Native Americans, all that stuff, were persecuted. I don't judge a faith or belief based on its abuse. So interesting. Oh, actually, I'm glad you said that. Actually, I actually am because I that brought me up to this because I'm sure everybody is familiar with David Wood, and he recently just came out with a video that I just loved seeing so much, where you can just tell by his face, guy was serious. Hatun Hush. See where it's at. There it is. Big Mahmood, this is for you.
Hey, it's the Dizzle here with a polite word of warning to all you jihadis of the world. See that Turkish woman in blue back there? That's my sister Hatun. Some of you jihadis have developed an unhealthy obsession with her. There have been unsuccessful jihadi plots to murder her.
This is my tea for
So,
tonight.
I'm giving you fair warning. If you are ever successful in one of your plots to murder my sister, I promise you, I guarantee to you that I am going to launch a global campaign of Quran desecration and Muhammad mockery, the likes of which you have never seen and cannot imagine. It will be something you will never recover from psychologically. Trust me on this. You have no idea what kind of mad scientist level plans for desecrating your book and making fun of your child molesting fake prophet go through my head. If I were you, and I knew the thoughts that go through my head, I would be terrified of me if I were capable of fear. So, you've been warned. If you want to get Hatun, better get me first cupcakes.
So,
And no.
you bring that up because Mahmoud right here. Hatun Tash was stabbed 2 years ago. Somebody tried to kill her. And David Wood comes in, warning to all you jihadists. Big Mahmoud, sipping on that tea while reading about the incident, smiling. You heard it from the man himself. I can probably bet he's not kidding. And with the following that that guy has, if you think it's bad enough that people desecrate a Quran or anything like that, excuse me, or anything like that, while you're over there smiling, sipping on your tea, it almost like it unleashes the beast itself, where mass Quran destruction across the planet. Because David Wood has that kind of following. And that looked like a guy that is not kidding. And I know he's not kidding. So sip on that tea while we're reading the comments. While heaven forbid that ever happens, but if it does, and Qurans are being destroyed across the entire world, here's my tea. And I'll be sipping on it. Doesn't bother me. Those kind of comments don't make me worry or anything. Honestly, like I'm not worried. It's that kind of comment and that kind of gibberish where it's like nobody important, nothing important. Because if a little, how tall is she? Like 5'2" or something like that. I don't know. She's really tall. She's that much of a threat to Islam that they have to kill her. Just shows that she's getting to them. It shows that they have to shut her up. Hunter, imagine there's people who sees her getting stabbed. Wait, say that again, Hunter. Imagine there's people who see her getting stabbed, who and go. That's awesome. Oh, trust me, I'm not actually saying it emotionally harmed her. I'm saying it actually, no joke. It actually, when that happened, you remember she got up and she kept preaching, and she's still preaching. She's still doing it. That did not stop her by any means. Hey, Chris La Sala. I always like saying it like that because it's like Latina, you know. So I took a little Spanish in high school, so the accents are cool. But yeah, I wanted to bring that up because you know people in the comment section bring it up, so of course I'm gonna share it. And but to go to show, going back to this, let me reshare my screen real quick. So these kind of things are happening all across the world. Anybody who's persecuting anybody is wrong. Um, I just want to make that clear. I don't think anybody should be persecuted for any um like even like well, let me well like for example, I think that there are ideologies that are bad for the world, and those need to be, you know, debated and shown to be wrong and false and things like that. However, I don't think that, like, for example, if this is what Islam teaches to be violence and everything like that, I still believe that they should not be persecuted. I still believe that Christians or Jews or Hindus or like over in India, you see it happening across, I mean, in multiple categories across history. All of it bad. Nobody should be persecuted when they've caused no harm to anybody whatsoever. Period. No innocent person should be persecuted, no matter what, religion they hold to, in my opinion, honestly. And so that's where it comes to the point of this, where, you know, this is if it, I mean, honestly, is this what Islam teaches? Does Islam teach to persecute those who believe in Jesus, to persecute Christians, to persecute Jews, or anybody you don't agree with? Is that what Islam teach? Christianity definitely does not teach that. Christianity teaches to pray for those who persecute you and love your enemy. Literally, that's like the words of Jesus. There's no way around that. That's like his words that he's commanding us to do. So, is that what it teaches? Is this what happens? Because I mean, that's why Andrew Tate became a Muslim, because nobody fears him. Nobody fears, or I take that back, because Andrew Tate became Muslim according to his own words, because nobody would dare threaten Islam or destroy a Quran or anything like that. Yeah, we just saw David Wood, and there's tons of people who do that. I know there's so many people who do this as well. So it's not just David Wood; it's a whole community of people who are not scared. So it's just like, so like, what do you do? With that, do you persecute all of them now? Well, according to people like Big Mahmood, it seems to be the case. And I actually wanted to bring it to interesting enough, if that's the reason why somebody should become Muslim, because Islam is strong, Islam is together, nobody would ever threaten Islam. Is that if that is the sole reason, in my opinion, based on reasoning, Andrew Tate would have been a Roman pagan in the time of Rome. Andrew Tate would have been in the Persian army during the time of Persia. Anybody who was the strongest in their time or had that kind of backing, where it's like, oh, nobody would dare threaten Exhibit A. Who's to say the same people with that same mentality, like Andrew Tate, wouldn't become Roman pagan? Seems to me that that's what it would be the case. But here's what I just wanted to share this. Here's what Sam Harris said about it.
Have you been keeping abreast, or have you noticed this trend that's happened of Westerners choosing to convert to Islam in adult life? Obviously, you spent a lot of your career criticizing Islam, and now we have, I don't want to accuse it of LARPing. These people very well may truly believe in the doctrine, but I mean, Andrew Tate is one of them, and downstream from that, there's on-street interviews with young British youths with these Islamic scholars or imams or whatever, converting them on the street, and they're like doing the thing on the street. Have you?
I haven't seen those Vox Pop conversions, but I saw Andrew Tate's conversion. Well, I mean, Islam is just mimetically, it's perfect for a specific audience. It's a explicitly macho religion, right? It's a no pussies religion, right? It's just a,
excuse the language, by the way,
and it's just, it's a like with Christianity, you have to pretend
More pussies.
Yeah, well, you have to pretend to be happy to be losing for the longest time, and you're basically just waiting for Jesus to come back and rectify this grave injustice. Like, the meek shall inherit the earth. You're just, there's no putting this place right. We're not going to win until we see, Jesus arrive on trailing clouds of glory. So it's all going to be fucked up for the longest time, and there's no imperative that we really do anything.
So FYI, if you have any kids, go ahead and take them out, because it's got cuss words in here, which I do apologize about. I should have said something about that before, but now you know. So these guys, it's not a Christian channel, just FYI.
Really, like, there's no expectation that we're going to win before anything good happens. I mean, I guess there's one Christian sect where they do have an expectation of kind of winning, but a thousand years of millennial glory until and then Jesus comes. But for most Christians, it's a story of failure, and then they get to say, "Look, we were right." Jesus,
Eat shit
came back. Yeah,
everywhere.
yeah.
Something I want to say about that real quick when it comes to Christianity. What was it exactly he
And they get
said?
to say, "Look, we were right." It's a story of failure,
Story of
and
failure.
then they get to say, "Look, we were right."
From a Christian standpoint, it's not from a stance of failure. It's a stance from victory on the cross. So it's not that we're losing or anything like that. From honestly, from my perspective, is that we've already won. Christ has already won. And so I don't see it as a failure at all when it is done. I don't know how you fail something when you complete something, when it is finished, when you fulfill that which you exactly were supposed to do. So when it comes to the case of Sam Harris saying like Christianity is a failure, like, the meek shall inherit the kingdom, or a meek shall inherit the earth, all things like that. It's like, sure, like I get it, like from a worldly perspective, it seems the case to be like Christianity is just this, oh, poor me, like loving, take, my hand and let us pray kumbaya. It's like it's 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 peace knowing that Christ lives. Even Paul talks about it in the New Testament, where they were being persecuted so much, the only hope they had was in the resurrection themselves. And things like that, where we have hope and we have peace and we've already won despite what happens in the world. That's why I can even say it doesn't matter if the entire world is against me. Christ still lives. And as long as he still lives, it doesn't matter what goes on in the world. It doesn't matter what the world says. What matters is what's true. And Christ is that truth. That's exactly what the Bible talks about. I am the way, the truth, and the life. So it just goes to show that we already have peace. We already have one. I'm becoming a broken record now. We haven't. There's no failure in Christ. We already have victory. So I just wanted to make that point there with Sam Harris with what he said here.
Right. Jesus,
Eat
came
shit
back. Yeah,
everywhere.
yeah. With Islam, there's an expectation that they're going to conquer the world, right? And there's an imperative to conquer the world. And for serious Muslims, it's like you don't have to be impatient necessarily. You can take as long as you want, but this is all we all know. This is moving in one direction, and you need to be a spiritual warrior. And if you take this really far, if you become a jihadist, right, and then especially doctrinaire, militant, true believer, well, then you're a kind of spiritual James Bond. I mean, then it's like you get to be Jocko and care about and know that you're going to go to paradise, right? Like, so you get all the tools. Like it's the first person shooter that literally you get all the good guns. Like it's not this boring. I'm pretending to just I'll turn the other cheek. Hit. Thank you, sir. Can I have another? Um, and where
Oh, sir.
it's a high T religion, right? And that's why a schmuck like Andrew Tate thinks he's had a real insight
People
in
are seeing
embracing it.
people are seeing it as a redress to women of the West who have been conned by feminism into believing that these
Mhm.
things are good for them. They're not good for them. We need, no one's happy. Look at the divorce rates. Look at the 60% of US teenage girls aged 12 to 16 have regular or persistent feelings of hopelessness.
Yeah, yeah.
Everyone's OnlyFans pathologically fapping themselves into a early Monster Energy hole or whatever it is that they're doing.
Right.
The answer is a return to something that's got a bit more
Yeah.
Lindy nature to it.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's the claim that I want to deny. I mean, it's explicitly retrograde. I mean, it is regressive. It is backward looking. It is not it is not using all of the good ideas we've had in the meantime, right? It's like it's a disavowal of the present and the near present. I mean, the modernity. In the case of Islam, it's a disavowal of nearly 1,400 years of wisdom and insight, right? It's a claim that in the 7th century, somebody was so smart and so wise and so prescient and so had his shit together that everything worth thinking about and talking about happened then, right? So we should confine ourselves to the products of that conversation. That's just, I mean, it's imbecilic on its face, right? And it's not to say, again, it's not to say there's nothing useful to come out of Islam, but whatever is useful, we can use without believing that Muhammad was visited by the archangel Gabriel and got the last download from the creator of the universe. Um, it's just not. This is not to deny any of the cultural problems that someone like Andrew Tate or I mean, there's lots of people we've dragged into the conversation here, but like all of these people who I've criticized to some degree, Tate or RFK or I mean, you could add Elon to this. I mean, all these people are kind of living out the consequences of their dissatisfaction with the present on the public stage and winning a lot of followers as a result. They just like they like the way these guys are complaining about the obvious excesses of the left for the most part.
In other news, this episode is brought to you by Element.
No ads, which I don't care for too much. So there you have it. So the idea that when it comes to differences between why I even brought this up in the first place, persecution when it comes to Christians in Pakistan that's happening across the world right now, even all over the other places, versus I mean, like, is this why people become Muslim? I mean, honestly, is this a legitimate reason today why people becomes Muslim? Because of the macho-ness that is about Islam, where it's like men being men and standing up for manly things in the way that's happening over in Pakistan, where Christians are persecuted and people are burned alive in the streets and churches and families and homes are destroyed all in the name of Islam. Is that what it teaches? And I'm curious from anybody in the chat, anybody who's in the chat right now, like who's Muslim, honestly, like tell me, like, is this what Islam teaches? Does Islam teach this exact thing where over literally in all these places where you see the red, where Christians face the most violence, where the most violence happens to Christians? Is this what Islam teaches even today? So we got one here that says, yes, it is what Islam teaches. Okay, good to know. Oh, that's one. That's just one Muslim. So I know there's going to be people who are like, no, that's not what Islam teaches, things like that. I'm honestly curious. I have friends who do study. Um, ah, good old, so Big Mahmood, Daniel Hakikachu. I call him Dan Pikachu, has even admitted it. You really want to use him as your source? Because he thinks it's okay to have sex with kids today. Did you see that debate with in modern day debate? That was pretty bad. Uh, his computer said it all. Predator. Nightmares. But I'm just saying. Dan Pikachu. I don't know if you want to use him as your source, unless you really do believe that you could. Okay, hold on. Here's another one. the, the diddler Daniel. Here's a question for Big Mama. Do you think it? I mean, this is kind of off topic here. Do you think it's also okay? Do you agree with him that it's also okay to marry 6-year-olds? I'm curious because that's what Daniel Hakikachu. That's what he admits to. He even debates it. He defends it. Okay, so uh, yes, I agree. Okay, then you agree that it's okay to marry little children. Good to know. So, onwards. All right, nightmares. Okay, so I just wanted to bring this up just because of things like that. Sam Harris, you know, brings points up. A lot of people are talking about this, so I'm just curious what you guys think about it. And Ramatet says FBI loves these guys. Well, add another one to the list because they're out there. Hide your kids, hide your wife. I don't know if you guys. I don't know if I just aged myself, but let's see. Okay, Christians practice it too in colonial America. Protestants practice it. So here's the thing: like you hear all these stories about things happening. People do it. I agree. People do it. Is it right? No, not at all. Does Christianity teach it? No, not at all. So that's where it comes into place. Like you have. I don't like. For example, people are fallen. Broken and hurt people are gonna break and hurt people. That's why we can't judge an ideology based on the people who take abuse of it because they're broken and hurt people. That's why they need help. That's why people who are sick need a doctor. They need to go to the hospital and get well. The cure? Jesus. The hospital? You could say it's a church. You could say it's the body. You could say, things like that. But ultimately, people are going to be people at the end of the day. God is still God. Today, yesterday, and forevermore. Always. So I'm gonna stick with the one who's consistent, not with the ones who are inconsistent, who are not perfect, who are somebody who is not, faulty or anything like that. God, man, faulty, man, creative, man, not perfect. God, perfect. God, not creative. God, none of those things. So I just wanted to bring that apparent because a lot of people are talking about this and something I wanted to do actually. So if you guys are watching, something I wanted to do, I if I can, let me see, because there was a live stream that I was gonna do, and that just brought up another thing. Man, talk about ADHD or anything like that. Shout out to anybody who has ADHD in the chat. I love you guys because we have so much in common. Um, if I look up, let me go to this real quick. Ah, here we go. So let me share my screen. Watch this with me real quick.
Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. This is your brother Uthman ibn Farouk. Behind me is the oldest church in Southeast Asia, here in Indonesia. And what's interesting is if you look right across the street, there is the largest masjid in Southeast Asia. I have a lecture here tonight, alhamdulillah. And what a beautiful thing. Here you have Christians that are able to practice their religion under a Muslim majority country. So all those fake news, all those conspiracies, all those lies that Islamophobes feed about Christians not having rights, those are fake, those are lies.
Those are fake. Those are lies. Sheikh Ibn Footnotes, you've done it again, man. I say that if anybody knows about the footnote deal that he had with Avery from God Logic. Let's finish this real quick.
Here in Indonesia, we see Christians, they can worship according to their religion, and you have the largest masjid across the street living peacefully. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Okay. I look up Indonesia Christian. Just look it up. And where I'm not even kidding when I say this. When I first saw this video, I literally got a newsletter from a nonprofit organization that literally helps persecuted people across the world. And it just so happened to be in Indonesia to Christians. So, and I'm trying to see if I can actually find it. Let me see. Oh. I'm sure I can find it here in just a second. Get it here in just a second. Oh, is it persecution.org? I don't remember. Duh, 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 duh. Hey, let me see if I can get Rob on here. Hang on one second. Rob, don't go anywhere. I'm trying to see if I can get to you. Yeah. Hang on. Hang on. There you are. Hey, you are Habibi. So let me see if I can find it because I know I remember seeing this. Actually, let me see if I can go to my email and find it. Anyways, I'll find it here in just a second. If anybody, well, honestly, if anybody, my little researchers, sorry, I didn't mean it like that. It, my researchers in the chat, if you guys can look up Indonesia Christians persecution, but also there was specifically something that was posted recently in July, literally about a month ago, and it was about like Christians were like literally like forced to stop worship in the middle of service and things like that. So yeah, I don't understand where Shea Guthman is getting this from, where it's just lies and it's false that there is no Christian persecution whatsoever in Indonesia. It happens. It may not happen where he's at, but it happens. So I'm just curious where these guys are getting this from because it's happening. As a matter of fact, let me see. If I do a quick search, Indonesia. Yeah, let's see. Aha, looky there. So if I go to that same source, 50 countries where it's most dangerous to follow Jesus in 2021. If I do a quick, let's see, Indonesia. Out of all the countries, let's see what this one is for. Indonesia, number 47, for the watch list ranking. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe this is for most dangerous countries to believe in Jesus. And Indonesia is 47. Is that wrong? Are they making stuff up? Are they lying? Shea Guthman? If so, where are they getting this information from then? Where are they getting these articles, these videos of people literally like being forced to stop worship in the middle of worship service, things like that? So I don't know. Uh, Rachel was like, "Boo! I can't minimize your YouTube and Google simultaneously." FYI, sorry. I don't know how to help you there. Sorry. So I just wanted to bring this up because this is happening. But one thing I do definitely want to do. Let me know what you guys think in the chat. I would love to do a live stream one day when we do get to a point that, well, I mean, and I don't, what's okay, so pretty much let me just spill the beans to you guys when it comes to like this channel and what I want to do with it. I don't want this. Oh, let me word this correctly. I want this to be more of a community thing than anything. Like I love the conversation. I love chatting with you guys. I love talking to you guys, looking at the chat, everything like that. And I love having these live streams where we can interact with each other. What I want to do one day is as a community as a whole, when the community grows enough, I would love to do a live stream where if, for example, we do like a fundraiser or we do a um, just we do something where all proceedings, every single bit of it, and I don't even want to be over anything like I don't want to be over it. I just want to make sure like, as a group, as a community, all proceedings go to persecuted Christians across the world. And all these places, whether it's North Korea, Afghanistan, Indonesia, Pakistan, um I mean even Mexico of all places. Like what? Literally next door neighbor of the United States, and that's because of the cartel and everything. But that goes to show, like, you know, people who don't have God will persecute those who do. It seems like, and I don't know. So I love to do that one day. I love to have it to where if we ever did a thing, um, not sure it's a good idea. Muslims will rob this money. Well, I mean, are you in Sky or not Sky? I'm sorry. Is it Gene Michael or is it? I mean, tell me how you pronounce your name in the chat if you can. Um, yeah. So I would love for this. Well, honestly, I mean, I think about it like people are already over there. People are already doing stuff. People are giving relief to those. John. Okay, I'm sorry. His name is John. People, ladies and gentlemen, his name is John. Yay for John. And people are already going over and giving relief to these people. So I would love to help somehow. Like, I mean, I remember there was this documentary, the Beeman Rangers or something like that. I can't remember what it's called. Somebody help me out in the chat. The Beeman Rangers. There's a whole documentary. It wasn't. I can't remember to save my life. Anyways, there. I mean, there's literally documentaries of like these people literally going over there. These guys went over to one country and was video recording everything. They weren't there to help fight. They weren't there for anything like to hurt anybody. They were there to film because the country that they were in were literally like propagating the wrong, I don't know, propaganda, I guess you could say. And so these guys went over there and actually filmed it, sent it over, and made everything just blow up. Then they went over to Afghanistan. Same thing, same exact thing. To bring awareness to things that were actually happening by actually video cameraing these things. And my first thought was, what can somebody just I mean, just being personal here, what can I do to help? What can anybody do to help? My first thought was, man, I want to go over there and do something myself, get in there, like do something. But then it's like, realistically, what can I do? As bad as I want to get in there in the middle of it, what can I do? And so for persecuted Christians around the world, I mean, honestly, it's not even just Christians. I mean, I've even thought about doing stuff for like dogs. Like I have two cute little Pomeranians, and I found out there was actually a shelter or not a shelter, a nonprofit organization that helps abandoned and abused Pomeranians. I'm just like, oh my goodness, my heart. But I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about that because I really am curious. I've always wanted to do stuff like that, but of course, in due time, I want to do it to where it actually can make a difference. So hopefully sometime soon. Who knows? This channel, if this community grows, then more to it that we can actually do more to help people because ultimately the goal is to grow people's faith and to help one another. And so even like for example, Mahmoud, in one way, shape, or form, even though you think it's a good thing to persecute Muslims and everything like that, as much as you feel that way, no matter what, if you were ever in trouble, and I'm not talking about like by the law or something like that. If you're in trouble by the law, you know, FBI is gonna be watching. Just saying. But if you ever was suffering, if you ever were persecuted, if you ever were in trouble in that kind of sense, I personally would want to help, as any rational thinker would. So, well, maybe not any rational thinker, but but that's because I have I mean, honestly, I think I can say without a doubt, I have the love of Christ in me. That where He says, "For God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son, that who who shall ever believe in Him shall not perish but have eternal life." John 3:16. That's His words. I hold to that. I believe that God so loved the world He gave His only begotten Son, came to serve, not to be served. Same thing. I just wanted to make that apparent. To everybody in the chat as well. Like, no hating, no nothing. I just generally just what can we do to help? And I just want to help. So I just want to bring that up because I want to gather everybody up. Gather up. Let's go. Kind of like Transformers. Let's roll, guys, or whatever he says. I don't know. I haven't been keeping up with the Transformers movies. But that being said, we've already been in this thing 50 minutes. I didn't even think I would have this much to say, honestly. All right, but what I want to do, uh, I'm just curious. I'm just looking at the chat. Look, hold on. What have you guys been talking about? Let's find out. Oh, and John, if you're still here, I hope you are. He said no problem. If you're still here, let me know. I mean, what do you think? Because you're the one that because you brought up, you think that Musk will steal the money. So I see what you mean there. Uh, I've always been kind of curious, like how people do stuff like that. Get relief over there, not to like blatantly show it to the world or anything like that, but how do people do it? So that maybe I can. Oh, okay, cool. You are here. Cool. I was just curious because you said earlier. Let me pull up your comment again. Oh, not sure if it's a good idea. Muslims rob this money. So like, do you think? Oh, sorry. So do you think? I mean, what do you think? How do you think it could go? Or how do you think one way to do it? Because people are doing it somehow. I mean, do you have like a statistic that shows this kind of stuff happening? I'm just curious if I'm just curious if if you know something that I don't, because I don't know how that stuff works. Man, I gotta. I'm sorry. I had to send a message to somebody real quick. Multitasking, trying to learn how to do it. So yeah, I'm just curious how you what you think. So yeah. Oh, and then also this is cool. Let's see. This is what John says. Of course, no statistics, but dot 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 would go, for example, in Pakistan, try to help Christian. What do you mean? Yeah, let me make this bigger so I can actually see more. There we go. Okay, so and then somebody in StreamYard, OMG, you got so many books. Yes. Yes, I do. No, you're good. I was just curious. Oh, there he is. Hold on. I gotta do this real quick. Come on.
Hello, hello.
You gonna turn that camera on so everybody can see yo gorgeous face?
Oh, I'm about to. I've just been doing a software update, so
No, you're good. Yeah, of course, those statistics. So I'm just reading the comments here, but would go, for example, in Pakistan, try to help Christian. Um, oh, Rachel. She says they have combat photographers in the military, so someone has to document to others the persecution of Christian across the world. And there's also, I'm trying. Rob, do you remember, or have you ever seen a documentary called like the Beeman Ranger or something like that? I can't remember what it's called.
nope.
Ah, anybody in the chat, help me out because I don't know what the heck. Um,
Persecution of Christians.
Ranger Beeman. Oh, hold on. What was it? It was a country. There was a country that it was like I can't remember the same line. This is gonna bother me all night now until I figure it out. Because I was gonna say there were like it wasn't military guys. It was actually people like Christians who were like really strong in the faith who were Burma. Burma. That's what it was. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Burma. I could not. Thank you so much. Free Burma Rangers. Oh my goodness, that is what it was.
Free Burma Rangers.
Free Burma Rangers. Let me share my screen real quick because that was bothering the mess out of me. This right here. There we go. Oh, well, that didn't even make it better. Hang on. Let me do this real quick. There we go. Free Burma Rangers. Great documentary. Guy goes to Burma. Then goes if I'm not mistaken, Fisher goes to Afghanistan next and does the same thing. And it's just bring in actual documentaries, like actual like live, well not live, but live streaming, but it's actually like recording the stuff like in person, like hiding in the woods, and they're like people from across the world is doing all these same things and everything. Free Burma Rangers. It's a great movie. I highly suggest it. This is one of the ones. This is a movie that made me literally, or a documentary that literally made me feel like, what can I do to help? That was my whole thing, and so that's why I wanted to bring up this whole Pakistan, Afghanistan, all this stuff that's happening, and then one day, hopefully, with the help of Habibi here, I don't know. I'm just messing. We can do like a fundraiser kind of thing. That's what I want to do. Habibi.
I'm retransitioning to another room.
What's that? Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Free. Yep. And then I don't want to leave people over in StreamYard out either. I got a StreamYard too. If you got, does anybody else, if anybody here on YouTube uses StreamYard, I have a StreamYard as well that I also do it on. There we go. Ta-da. By the way, that's not your bedroom. That is the loft, living room. You're muted.
Nope, this is
Oh,
not my bedroom. I'm currently
there
looking after my Oma, so I'm not at home.
I got you. Somebody asked, "Is it a true movie?" It's. I mean, do I say it's a movie? Like, I mean, technically yes, but I mean, it's like a documentary. I would just suggest honestly going and watching it. It was really good. It's a guy who is very Christian. He is going over there in faith. Like he's like just some of the things that happen were kind of like, whoa, like. And then my friend Rob here, somebody wanted to know who you were. This is my good friend Rob from Australia. Say hi to the folks, Rob. Are you still muted?
The world is not flat. The fact that I exist, the world is not flat.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I just wanted to bring that up. Oh, and then somebody okay, so here's the thing. Here's a thought. Like, oh, actually, why not? Because I wanted to bring this up for this specifically, the persecution that's happened in Pakistan. Rob, you've been hearing about this, right? It's like anybody who's Christian and who cares should know about this. I'm kidding. If you haven't, but when I just said that, I was like, if you're a Christian and you care, you should know about this. But I'm just kidding because some people might not know about it. That's just because they live under a rock. I'm kidding. I'm still kidding. So I wanted to bring this up just for that. But I do not mind. Somebody says you have better hair than me, which is very true. By the way, just for the record,
Hunter here is the true Zoolander.
So, yeah, mine. It's just I got a lot going on with mine. I didn't do much to it today. What? I don't care. Whatever. But anyways, I just wanted to bring that up. And also, why not? Let's invite some people up. You want to? I want to. Rob, you okay with that?
Yeah. Is there by the way, is there an echo coming through? Like,
no. If anything, it just sounds like you're in a very it sounds like you're in a room. So yeah. So let me.
If I press the setting, how about this? Does this make it worse?
Again, say something else.
Testing.
Okay. No, I mean, still. I mean, it sounds fine.
All right.
Yeah, it sounds fine.
It seems to, because I'm not using headphones and it's coming out of the speakers, which means the echo. You know how there's an echo issue?
Yeah, you're good. All right. So let me here. Some people. Okay, so here's the thing. Some people. I know some people was in the chat earlier wanting to talk about like Trinity stuff and everything, which that's always the go-to whenever I talk about Muslim stuff. So, I mean, this could go so many ways, but ultimately, it's just this isn't like specifically like a topic or anything like that. It could be whatever kind of topic. So yeah, so I just dropped it in the chat. If anybody wants to join in, give their 2 cents in about this stuff, and anybody who like just wants to gather up, more than welcome to. Now, I do know that there has been a lot of trolls who have been going on channels and sharing or doing a lot of like showing like really bad
Mhm.
videos of like people's things and stuff like that.
There
So
is
what I'm
there
gonna
is a
ask,
StreamYard setting, by the way.
huh?
There is a StreamYard setting where it says require guests to log in.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
pretty much what I'm gonna ask. You have to show me that later. Pretty much what I'm gonna ask is if anybody does join, I'm not gonna let you up until I know for sure it's an actual human being that is actually watching and that is actually wanting to join. And then somebody asked, "Are you Muslim?" No, I'm not Muslim. I just wanted to bring awareness to what's happening over in Pakistan. Um, I'm Christian, definitely. So haven't always been Christian. Me and Rob both. Actually, we go back. Both of us haven't always been. Rob, I mean, you were atheist before, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same.
Yep.
So was I. But you converted a little earlier than me, though. I became Christian in 2011. You became Christian in 2010. Is that right?
Yep. Well, my journey started in 2010, and then 2015 was when I finally
Yeah.
went, all right, this is it. Then you and I meet in 2016, and that's where all the fun began.
And now the party has started. Yeah. So yeah. Oh, yeah, so good question. So why did you change? You see, hold on. Okay, let me share my screen. I'm gonna make it this for here. Why did you change?
All these books.
See all these books? See all of these stuff? Now, this is where Rob comes in. If you think these are a lot of books, wait until I tell you about the Holy Grail.
I'm 80 years old. That's my excuse.
Hold on. What did this guy say? Rob also, he looks unreal for his age. Yeah. He's got them good genes.
Yeah.
So yeah, so yeah, I don't even know. I lost my train of thought. People in the comment section are throwing me off now. Okay.
Fix,
So anyways,
fix that setting, by the way. It's if you go settings and then you go under the guest tab, and it should give you the option to
Where?
sign in. Yep.
Where?
If you click on settings and there's like invite guest list or something.
I feel like if I go anywhere, I will leave the stream. So you may just have to show me later on.
All right. Good.
Because that's happened before, but the stream kept going too, which was funny. So, anyways, yeah. Okay, so Rob, let me ask you this: when it comes to Christian persecution that's happening in Pakistan, I'm just curious, like, how much do you know about it? Do you know like what happened or anything like that?
I saw the footage, but it's not new to me. I've seen this persecution happening all the time. Like there's a channel which is kind of non-PC to say. I mean, not a channel, a website. It's not PC to say, but it's called thereligionofpeace.com, and it's a very, 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 very good, maybe unheard of webpage that is run by a dedicated team, only documenting the atrocities that Muslims, in this case, what they call the radical Muslims. That's it. And I wouldn't be surprised if they've highlighted the Pakistani context, the situation. But they literally go day by day, like daily, even down to multiple times a day, so-called atrocities that Muslims perform against anyone around the world. And so this team that made this website, it started since 9/11. So since 9/11, some of them seem to be ex-Muslims. Some of them obviously are atheists. There's like an atheistic bent to it, but regardless, it's a valuable, heartbreaking resource to bookmark and to keep tabs on, like every day. And sometimes it comes across as a bit too far-fetched. Like, hang on, like, it can't be that much violence. Well, they make sure to link you the news articles and the relevant data to show, So, yeah.
Well,
you will get desensitized. In other words, like after a while, you start to get desensitized to it. Like kind of like how I had. Like initially, I was sometimes in tears, sometimes I was angry, sometimes it was emotions were going through, and then give it a few years, and then you become desensitized to the information. It's like it becomes like a data point, which ironically is the point. If you're getting desensitized to it, what does that mean? It means that's all it is. Like Islam as religion, that's all it does for this world. Is kill and maim and be violent. So in retrospect, if it desensitizes you, as well, it may not you, but like whoever goes on, but it did to me. Maybe that's just my personality trait. I don't know, but that should be a cause for concern for the movement that claims to be a religion of peace. So,
oh, by the way, I'm just like going off of this that you sent me, or the website here, and look at this:
Yep.
Al-Qaeda, Osama bin Laden, and Islamic State (ISIS).
Yep.
And from 2007 to 2011, Pew Global, 51% of Palestinians support Osama bin Laden. Whoa.
Yep.
And it actually gives right off the get-go, world public opinion, Muslim majorities agree with the Al-Qaeda goal of Islamic law. And so that's why I was asking people like Big Mahmoud. Like I was asking him earlier, is this Islam? Is this what Islam teaches? And he goes, literally, he was like, yeah, it does. And he agrees with Daniel Hakikachu, which I call him Dan Pikachu, because he likes he thinks it's okay to marry little kids. And lo and behold, some people in the chat agree.
Big Mahmoud, is he Muslim? And he agrees with Dan Hikachu?
Yep. Yeah, hold on. I'll actually let me
because
see.
Because again, like Dan, my question for you, Big Mahmoud, is Dan Hikachu in his debate with IP. I find it curious that he goes beyond Muhammad. In other words, Muhammad, the youngest age he chose for was 6 years old, and yet Dan Hikachu was like, yeah, we can go for 5. We can go for 4. Which matches
I didn't even see this
Quran,
one.
by the way, it's 65:4. So
I didn't even see this one. I love my prophet, peace be upon him. I want to follow his footsteps in all walks of life, for he's the best example. Interesting. So that's an interesting take, because I've always been curious. If it comes to the best example, I'm trying to think, because I know when it comes to like the best example, a lot of people like to compare Jesus with Muhammad. And it's like, okay, if I follow Muhammad perfectly in every way, shape, or form, does that mean, I would Well, actually, hold on. Now I'm curious. Big Mahmoud, if you're still here, please. I think you are. Um, would you, for example, like, do you think Al Qaeda and ISIS? Do you think that that is the true Islam, like Andrew Tate believes? I'm curious if you hold to that. Like, if ISIS and Al Qaeda, they're the true form of Islam, and then somebody goes, "Oh no, not again, not Big Mahmoud again." So yeah, I'm curious, Mahmoud. I don't know if we've ever talked before or anything like that. I don't know if this is my first time seeing you. I'm just okay, yeah. So Sky says he also thinks people who speaks bad about Islam should be killed. There goes that. There goes what you were talking about, Rob, where you actually talked about in Islam, it's better to kill than to persecute. Is that what it said?
Yep. It's in the
Yeah.
Quran. It's the Quran
Well,
goes out of its way
Big Mahmoud.
psychologically.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Big Mahmoud said, "Yep, it's true Islam."
Yeah, no, it's so the Quran goes out of its way, which is obviously Muhammad's convenient psychological passive aggressive remarks. He's
Yeah.
So as you saw in that what I wrote up and I finally released the episode, he's being nothing but passive aggressive with his people. It's like
Which
you
no, go
you don't
ahead.
want to fight, but Allah has demanded that you fight. So what it's communicating is there are people who have a conscience, and Muhammad, out of his frustration to go and fight this particular tribe, is blackmailing them and passive aggressively saying, "Hey, but this life is a short time. Don't you know that when you die in war, there's this grand heavenly paradise that's yet to come," and blah blah blah. But if my question to Mahmoud, if Muhammad is the best example, what does Surah 19, Ayah 19 say?
Say that again. Say that last part again.
What does Surah 19, Ayah 19 say? The 19 was 19.
Oh. Let me get it up. By the way, I brought up your video here. By the way, anybody who doesn't know who the famous Robert Rowe is, just go over to Sentinel Apologetics. Let me actually. Oh, I wish I could make it. Let me see if I can make it bigger for you. There we go.
If you want, play the last. Play. Go back.
We're gonna play your video.
Yep, forward. Like just before that image, the Philip Sharp image. If you want, play, and we can review it. By the way, you don't have to play it continuously.
Here.
No. Play from where the image of Philip Sharp is, which is near the end.
There.
Yep. So go back a bit.
All right.
Yeah, play from here because this guy in the 1800s, one of my favorite Christian church historians, did a fantastic job summarizing Muhammad in a nutshell. If he is meant to be the best example for all mankind.
All right, let me play real quick.
Must be regarded as the best commentary on his character.
By the way,
While
you
his
can
followers
pause it,
regard
and
him
if you
to
want,
be
you can read it out. So instead of hearing my voice, you can
Oh,
maximize it
turn your voice up.
and then read it for ourselves.
All right, there we go. And hold on. All right. The only thing is, I don't know how to get rid of that. That down there.
Yeah.
Oh
sorry,
no, just
He
yeah.
was long abhorred.
Thing is
Yeah.
when I pause it, it does that. So we can work with it. I can still read it. The Quran,
Oh, you
if
can read it. Is it big?
but I can't get the.
Okay, I don't know. That's all right. Yep.
So reading it here, the Quran is chronologically arranged. If chronologically arranged, must be regarded as the best commentary on his character. While his followers regard him to this day as the greatest prophet of God, he was long abhorred in Christendom as a wicked impostor as the Antichrist or the false prophet predicted in the Bible and inspired by the father of lies. There you go. Someone was like, people look so weird back then. That's funny. Just to put that on there real quick. That was funny. And the calmer judgment of recent historians inclines to the belief that he combined the good and the bad qualities of an Oriental chief, and that in the earlier part of his life, he was a sincere reformer and enthusiast. But after the establishment of the kingdom, a slave of ambition for conquest, he was a better man in the period of his adversity and persecution at Mecca than during his prosperity and triumph at Medina. History records many examples of characters rising from poverty and obscurity to greatness and then decaying under the sunshine of wealth and power. He degenerated like Solomon, but did not repent like the preacher of Vanity of Vanities.
I just love that line because he's being so sarcastic there. So
Yeah.
the whole point of Vanity of Vanities, don't forget, is in Ecclesiastes, Solomon is writing as an 80-year-old man. In other words, he's been there, done that. He recounts his life. He's done the bad and the good.
Yeah.
And then
Which,
in that sort of,
sort of what?
No. What were you going to say?
No, finish what you were saying. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm interrupting. I'm sorry.
So in that pseudo-nihilistic tendencies that we all now and then contemplate, he's just like, you know what? Everything, there's just nothing new under the sun. It's like going after the wind. It's like vanity of vanities. And in other words, he had a good sense of realizing that, like as the Quran says, which Muhammad is utilizing in a subtle, passive-aggressive way, that this life is short, right? Although, 80 years seems a long time, and hence when Solomon boasts, he's done this, he's done that. But then, later on in the New Testament, when James says our life is like a vapor, it suddenly just appears and disappears. So then, when Solomon, understanding that his selfish deeds will also fall under the category of vanity of vanities, he does repent. He does understand who is Lord, and he does position himself humbly under the foot of the king. But Muhammad didn't do that. So that's the point Philip Schaff is making. He goes, he degenerated like Solomon. Notice, Philip Schaff as a Christian is saying all the prophets, biblical prophets, because as Paul says, Romans 3, all have fallen short of the glory of God. That includes Solomon. That obviously includes Muhammad.
Yeah.
The difference, though, Muhammad didn't repent.
Yeah. Well, because, when it comes down to it, I mean, you got to think about where Solomon was coming from. He was a Jew. He had the Torah with him.
Mm-hmm.
Muhammad only had, if at best, oral tradition of what was told around him because he couldn't read or write. So I mean, God didn't. If it was from Allah, then Allah. Well, even if saying that, if it's from where Muhammad is getting his source from, it's not from the Torah. It's not from the New Testament or Injil, so to speak, things like that. So it's like he's working with. So from from outside looking in, he's working with what he got, what he has, and it's not necessarily divine revelation based on what we do know about the Torah and the New Testament, things like that. Which totally random. Speaking of which
I'm just to give everyone a teaser and to spoil what episode 2 will be about moving forward. So
by the way, let me say this real quick. If you guys haven't, Sentinel Apologetics is this guy right here. Go to his channel, subscribe, show my boy some support here, because honestly, I got to do this, Rob. I got to do this because honestly, I started off in YouTube with him. He is the reason why I'm even here, honestly. Seriously, this guy right here is the one.
But I'm
And
also, I
so-
can say the same about me. I'm here because of our interactions.
No,
like and subscribe, content, guys. Come on.
this is okay. Yeah, do that too. Like and if you haven't liked or subscribed to this, to Everything NT, go ahead and do that, please. Support the channel. If you like these conversations, by all means, we love having the conversation. But also go check out his channel. He's got some mad stuff on there. He's friends with Hugh Ross. He's friends with the late and great Michael Heiser. Like, this guy is up there. Like, remember we were talking about earlier, I had mentioned the Holy Grail Google Drive. That's because of this dude right here. That's because of Rob. Yeah.
The
Over
famous
10,000
Google
files. The famous Google Drive.
10,000
Anybody who ever
books.
yeah. If y'all think this is a lot of books, it's a Google Drive, which is like a combination of like mainly Rob. Like 9,900 books of those books are Rob's pretty much. Everything else is like 99% me, and then like one and maybe like a slip of paper is like Hound or I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, Hound. If you ever see this, I'm totally kidding. So yeah, so go like and subscribe him. If you haven't liked this video yet, go ahead and do that. We've literally almost reached goal here. Can I share? Sorry, Rob, I didn't mean to take this away.
No, go for it.
1 second. If we go here, see if I can zoom in. The goal, we are almost there, people. Almost there. Right there.
499 subs.
Just one more. If you haven't yet, and you love me, which I hope you do, subscribe. I'm just asking for one more. Literally just one more is all I'm asking for. That's it. If you do it because you feel sad for me, I don't care. Just do it. Please. Just subscribe, or but at the same time, if you don't want to, you don't have to. It's just I'm just messing. I'm kind of
seen Ace Ventura, by the way, Hunter?
Yes.
Yeah, you know how when the chief tribe spits in his face.
Which one is it?
When nature calls, like when he goes to meet the chief, and the chief goes.
Yeah.
Oh wow. That is the biggest sign of affection that the chief has just shown you. And then Ace is like, allow me to show my affection.
That's been a while since I've watched that too. I need to go watch it now. Movie night with the wife. Let me get this brought back up to. Sorry, I wanted to do that real quick because of you. So like and subscribe if you haven't yet for him. And thank you so much.
Just did.
Yay. So just wanted to give that shout out. You know what, even in the description, I'll edit it and I'll even put your channel. Actually, I'll just put this in the description. So I'll do that in a second. But anyways, Go ahead with what you were saying. Oh, somebody was like 501 subscribers. Actually, hold on. This might be really loud, but nah, I ain't gonna do it. I had a soundboard, but I don't know if I should do it. I haven't been using it this whole time. I should have, but oh well. Who cares? I do, but oh well. All right, going back. I'm getting too hyped up now because
No, it's all good, man. It's all good.
Getting hyped up. Look, someone was like, now you can get ads on here because that's what I want. Actually, I still can't do that yet. So, Crystal Salas here. He was like, I would have enjoyed going to bar and seeing a drunk version of Rob before I got saved.
You have no idea who I actually am in real life. Not that I drink or anything, but just the goofiness side of me.
Scotch. Nice sip of scotch with crumpets. Anyways.
And it still continues on. I'm all academic, and then there's Ace Ventura me. So I'm a little bit of a paradox in that sense.
I'm just Ace Ventura. I'm not academic at all. I'm just actually, hold on. Speaking of academic, so totally random. You hear that? Do you hear this? Do you hear those noises?
No.
Do you hear all that slamming around? Everything? So, speaking of academic, look at all these books for the coming up term. I got to do.
Oof.
And that's just the beginning. That's not even counting all those papers and all the books that I couldn't get. So yeah, take a snippet of that, people, because that's a lot of reading. So that's not even. I'm kidding. That's actually not for the whole term. I got a voucher, so I got some ahead of time. But that's still a lot. So, anywho, going back. Oof. Alrighty then.
So, okay.
Yeah.
So as Paul says, all have fallen short, right? Now, this is why I asked to bring up Surah 19, verse 19, because
Let me get that.
the Quran, again, the Quran is like a book that just is so, I don't know how to describe it. I don't know whether to describe it as a paradox or to describe it as weird or describe it as it like shoots itself in the foot, but without realizing it. It's comedy because of how unreflective it is of its own contradictions.
Ooh,
I mean,
hold on.
again, if it comes from Allah, like should Allah be self-aware that, hang on, this verse, if Muhammad's going to be the best example,
There it is.
then why would this verse exist?
By the way, let me know if this is too loud. Everybody in the chat, is that too loud? Let me know.
No.
Let me know if that's too loud, because soundboard's on, so I might start doing that. Who knows? I'm getting a little. I'm getting too comfortable, and this is what happens when I get too comfortable. What in the world? Is that who I think it is? Hold on. Sorry, TJ Born, if you are who I think you are, let me know. If it's who I think it is, he knows who I'm talking about. Oh,
My ears.
Yeah, that's what I was worried about. Sorry, Volume Max. My bad. All right, so yeah, getting a little bit of Radar right now. Man, Radar's trying to be like me. I'm kidding. He actually inspired me. He inspires me too. He's really cool. He's got a better soundboard than me though. Go like and subscribe to Radar Apologetics. I'm just giving shout outs today. All right. Back to this. So we're going back to this.
Read from verse 16.
All right. Verse 16.
Which you could just scroll up. There you go.
And mentioned in the book. Do I need to like sing it like they sing it? And I don't know. Mention.
let's sing it. And mention in the book, O prophet.
Yeah. Hold on. Hang on. Hold on. Hang on. Wait, I got this. This is even better. So you know how they like read it and everything?
Yeah.
And mention in the book. Kidding. All right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They don't work. They kind of probably some dumb anyways.
All right.
It was,
that's perfect. Read it with that voice. Go for it.
All right. And Magic had the bug. O prophet, the story of Mary, was she withdrew from her family to a place in the east, screening herself off from them, then reset to her our angel Gabriel, appearing before her as a man perfectly formed.
Oh wow!
Interesting.
Mm.
Let's.
So this angel is perfect. All right, keep going.
She was about before as a man, like the great. The cutter must have Genesis 18:1, but who was that formed like a man in front of Abraham? Oh wait, there might be was. She filled, I truly seek refuge in the most compassionate from you to leave me alone. If you're God's hearing, he responded, I am only a messenger from your Lord, sent to bless you with a pure son. And keep going.
Your son, Jesus, is described as what?
Pure.
Was Muhammad described as pure?
If so, give me a verse.
The answer is no.
Not a.
In the Quran, Only Jesus is described with that specific phrase.
Yeah. So, what the
So the whole this is just to give everyone a little bit of a heads up. So you know how you have, especially in
I just
Catholic tradition.
I just realized I had a voice changer on this whole time, and I'm over here sounding like a narrator in the Bible, and you're not even telling me.
No, I said to read it with that voice, and you have.
Oh, okay.
But no, you're back to normal a moment ago. That's all.
Yeah,
So
now I
you
am.
still-
Yeah. Sorry. I didn't even realize you said that you were talking about that. I thought you were talking about the magic chord singing thing.
Huh?
Never mind. Go ahead. I thought you were talking about.
Okay.
I thought you were talking about this one.
No. Anyway, so in Roman Catholic tradition, you have the Immaculate Conception, right? This notion that Jesus can't be born a sinner, or he can't, the so-called, original sin being transferred through. So how was he immaculately conceived? Oh, that means Mary must have been, like sinless, and that's all the Catholic situation, right? But that's what makes it ironic. You have Christian tradition going out of its way to speak about the pureness of Christ, even though he's human, and the potential to sin, right? And even Jesus says, can any of you prove me guilty of sin in John 8? The answer is no. Because he's pure. And to be pure means to be what? God in flesh, because only God is pure. So
Only God is perfect.
Right. So if Muhammad is meant to be the best example to follow, but your Quran doesn't describe Muhammad as pure, so shouldn't Isa be the one by whom I should rest my hope and and that he should be an example for me?
Perfect example for all of mankind.
Yeah, like in that video that I made, I was shocked to discover that Muslims tell me that all the prophets are sinless. But the Quran, from Adam all the way to Solomon, has all of them saying, we need to repent. We've sinned. We please forgive us.
Yeah.
But Jesus, Isa, is never described as, oh, Allah, please forgive me. I'm a sinner. It's like the Quran elevates Jesus. Even the Quran elevates Jesus above everyone, including Muhammad.
So that's where it goes to show.
Why
which
is
one's the better
Muhammad
example.
described as the best example? I don't get it.
Well, that's why I asked too, because I remember speaking with people who were Muslim and asking them if I followed Muhammad. Like there were Muslims, of course, who would not marry a child because they say, "Oh, culturally is accepted at the time." I was like, okay, okay, so if Muhammad was here today, you're saying that, and he stayed the exact same way, he is not the best example for all time, or for all peoples at all times and all cultures.
No.
Right. And so then you ask the question, and it's interesting to see. It's like, okay, if Muhammad was to marry a 6-year-old, would you marry a 6-year-old? And typically, the answer is no, I wouldn't. So that tells me that your morality, or you would not do what Muhammad would do. You would say no to that because you. Is it safe to say that you think that your morality is better than Muhammad's because you wouldn't do that? Otherwise, you think it'd be okay, but they won't do it because it is in fact wrong. So, and it actually shows to be wrong too. Like there's actually statistics. There's actually articles, news articles that kind of go viral and things like that of people who are who hold to that view, and they do exactly that, and they kill the young child because they're so young, they're so little. Muhammad consummated when she was 9 years old. There are grown men who do exactly that, and the little girls have died because of that, because they're so young. Yet they're following the example, yet killing innocent children. So if I followed Muhammad as a best perfect example, people would die. If I follow Jesus as the best perfect example, I would die for everybody else. Literally.
Yeah.
Like, well, not literally. I mean, of course, he was crucified, but you get what I'm saying. I would be there to serve, not be served. Which, if you guys, I'm telling you, when you get a chance, let me reshare this real quick. When you get a chance, go and watch this because me and
Well,
Rob's actually showed
yeah.
this to me before. What?
If you want, we can keep reading.
Well, I was
It's
yeah.
up to you. It's up to you, man. Like,
Yep, I'll go back to it here in just a second. I just wanted to say, go watch this video because Rob literally showed me the PDF and we talked through this and everything, and it was. I truly believe that it was really good because it shows the what is the word that I used? Like how convenience or how convenient, yeah, the
there's a lot of
convenience
convenience in his life. Yeah.
where when certain things are happening in his life, and all of a sudden Allah reveals these things, like as if it was like prophesied before, and just like, oh, how convenient. Just you'll know what I'm talking about when you go watch this. He did this on the Bedrock of Christianity, which
hmm
that was also a great series. I literally have the script all printed out right here because I love this so much. I literally have stuff highlighted in here. It was that good. Because I couldn't. It's like one of those things when you see the movie, it's like the movie's really good, but then when you read the book, it's just like so much better in a way, shape and form. So I gotta like I have to have both. You know what I mean? But it's funny too
Oh,
because but it's funny though because the script is literally just the series. So that's just how good it is. So yeah,
right.
go check it out.
Um,
It's really good stuff. So let me go back to it real quick.
there's a comment. If you go in the side comment by a guy named Logan, he goes,
Oh,
Bob, I'm looking forward to episode 2.
man, let me see. In private chat or
No, in the comments.
you said Logan? Oh, there it is.
Logan. Well, yeah.
Yep, here it is.
So it's Nick.
Rob, how
Yeah.
about this one?
Yep.
Yep, Rob, I'm looking forward to episode 2 of your streams in the desert. The first episode was so well done and informative. Any spoilers for the next episode? God bless.
So yeah. So what Hunter just said there in regards to the convenience. So here's the spoiler. The first episode was all to do with what is the historical Muhammad if we were to do the same method from an A to Z, from start to finish, or say the historical Jesus. And that's technically the Bedrock series. The Bedrock is all about here's how the movement starts, here's the creeds, the origin of the creeds, and then I go into like Jesus as a person. In fact, and then what I'll probably do in one of these episodes is I'll call it like say episode 3 or episode 4 as something as like the resume of Adam according to the Quran, the resume of Moses according to the Quran, like a resume format, and then finally the resume of Jesus, which will be basically a rehashment, but in a fresher way. It's not like verbatim. I'm going to copy and paste the Bedrock stuff, but I will type afresh Jesus's life from start to finish, just so you can see the bigger picture, I suppose, in that sense of comparing Muhammad's life with all these characters. In other words, just to be a bit blunt, all of you must. I mean, Hunter and I are very familiar with Heiser's work, so Unseen Realm content. There are a lot of familiar names in here, like, for example, Undevelopment Team. All of you are aware of Heiser's Unseen Realm. So here's what I'm getting at. I want to see if Heiser were given a side project to do Unseen Realm only through the lens of the Quran, is that even possible? Could the Quran be sufficient enough to write out an entire unseen realm thesis? And the answer is heck no. Because and it's coming back to Hunter's point with convenience. The Quran is nothing but, and I was discussing this with the guy. He was on God Logic's stream the other day, and so this is after the stream. We were sort of just hashing out a few stuff, and I needed some clarification. And when Muhammad goes, you know how when Muslims say that he starts off very peaceful, then he becomes more warlike. Well, it's curious that, so the surahs that are connected with his earlier so-called peaceful context is more to do with the politics of, hey, I've had this experience, follow my movement, and then he's trying to engage that community in that sense. And then the more when he makes that migration, then the more he becomes warlike. Well, how convenient, right? There are Jewish tribes in that other location, and this is the location where he dies, where he then starts to interact with the Jewish stories of Adam, Moses, Jesus, and so on. And then he starts to make up his own versions of those characters. So here's where episode 2 onward is going to go. I'm going to go into analyzing the Quran as a document relative to the Bible. And then I'm going to ask the vital question. A lot of Muslims, I've noticed, like Muslim Cowboy and all these guys, Muhammad is the be-all and end-all in literally anything. Never once have I seen, in all the streams I've been in, or all the interactions I've had with them, never once have I seen any of them draw out principles or reflect on or do like what you and I would do. Like as Christians, you and I would do, like, say, Bible studies. We pick a particular passage and we study it, and they don't seem to do any of that sort of thing. There's no narrative history per se. Like an A to Z, like let's analyze, say, Exodus chapter 2, what's going on in that whole chapter. There's none of that in the Quran. So if we had to rely on the Quran, here's the teaser. If we had to rely on the Quran to defend the historicity of these biblical characters and stories, would that be a viable defense, say, against those who are critiques of like, say, the atheists in the world, or even those who are highly skeptical of ancient, like, those who argue that there was no Exodus, right? There's no flood, or there's none of this, none of that. Could we defend those stories through the Quran? And here's where it gets ironic. And I haven't seen Christians do this. Like, in all the polemics I've seen online between Christians and Muslims, I haven't seen this done. The Bible does a better job defending those ancient stories than the Quran. So if the Bible does a better job, that means you can't throw the Bible out and claim that it's corrupted and wrong and embellished. And it just goes to show that if the Bible does a better job, but hang on, the Quran comes from Allah. So, and the Quran itself says it's written in like clear Arabic, and it's a clear book. It's easy to understand. The Quran is pure, and it's like at the start of this episode, I go through all the 5 titles that it's given to the Quran: the guide, the truths, the explainer, it's like, okay, it's given these fantastic titles, and yet it does such a poor job. In fact, not only a poor job, but even a wrong job. Like there's a lot of anachronisms, there's a lot of errors in regards to these biblical characters.
But yet,
So, yeah.
And yet, even when it comes to those biblical characters, where does it seem to be the case of where these stories seem to come from?
And then and that's the next. So when I go through the resumes of each character, so I'm going to be faithful to the Quran, no embellishments. I'm just going to be, here's the raw data. Here's what the Quran says. Does this match with the Bible? No. Where does it come from? Uh-oh. The Adam story
Let's
comes from the life of Adam and Eve, that apocryphal story.
let's
Like I'll
find
to
out.
go in that trajectory.
Have you ever, that just reminded me of, does anybody ever remember the commercial with the old Tootsie Roll commercial with the owl and the boy? It's like, how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll, center of a Tootsie Pop? And the owl's like, let's find out. A 1, a 2, a 3,
Yeah.
a 3. Let's find out. That's what I was thinking of.
Let's
So
find
I got
out.
memes. I got memes for days wrapped up in here. So that's why I'm the Ace Ventura and you're the Robert Rowe. So, anyways.
Numbers till 911. All right.
Yeah. All right. So let me share this back again. All right. So going back to it, let me.
So we stopped at Vanity of Vanities.
Yeah. Let me get this back real quick. Okay. Vanity of Vanities. Okay. So we're right here, people. Can they see my mouse? Can you see my mouse?
Nope.
Yep. Vanity of Vanities. If you see it, it's in the middle.
Nope.
Good luck.
It's all right.
Okay. He had a. What is this? I can't even
Melancholic
read it. It's so
and
small
nervous
for me.
temperament.
Yeah,
Now
melancholy.
you can maximize it. Use the StreamYard maximizing.
Oh.
No.
It's in the video. It's already maximized.
No, this in the StreamYard setting, like so that.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
The screen shares takes up the whole screen.
There. It's a little bit better.
There we go.
That'll work. Okay. He had a melancholic and nervous temperament, liable to fantastic hallucinations and alternations of high excitement and deep depression, bordering at times on despair and suicide, which that is true.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the suicide part and everything. That's what I'm saying. The story of his early and frequent epileptic fits throws some light on his revelations, during which he sometimes growled like a camel, foamed at his mouth, and streamed with perspiration. He believed in evil spirits, omens, charms, and dreams. His mind was neither clear nor sharp, but strong and fervent, and under the influence of an exorbitant imagination, he was a poet of high order, and the Quran is the first classic in Arabic literature. Hang on, I got to do this real quick because this is sounding like a poet itself.
He was a poet of high order, and the Quran is the first classic in Arabic literature. He believed himself to be a prophet, irresistibly impelled by supernatural influence to teach and warn his fellow men. He started with the overpowering conviction of the unity of God and a horror of adultery, and wished to rescue his countrymen from the sin of sins and from the terms of the judgment. And I also place his to the bottom's land heart. Judgment to come, but gradually he rose above the office of a national reformer to that of the founder of the universal religion.
If you press play, that bar will disappear, and then you can read the rest. But keep it muted.
Okay. I just had to do that because it sounded like poetry in and of itself, so I had to do it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. Absorbed to the other religions and to be propagated by violence, it is difficult to draw the line in such a character between honest zeal and selfish ambition, the fear of God and the love of power and glory.
Yeah.
Ta-da.
Now skip to like there's a clip by Nabil Qureshi that I think is very, very, very relevant.
All right.
Science of the social order of Christian civilization.
Well, actually, pause it here. So go back just slightly so that see how it says we cannot close this chapter on Oriental Mohammedism without some remarks on the abnormal American phenomenon of Mormonism. And so he calls Joseph Smith, the organizer of the sect, may be called the American Muhammad, although far beneath the Prophet of Arabian genes. And so read this paragraph here.
Okay, hang on. Because like that whole take, the American Muhammad.
Yeah.
Like
Now, this is Philip Schaff in the 1800s. He was ahead of his day in making these connections.
Who was the one that wrote that dissertation?
The American
Was it?
Muhammad.
Yeah, was it Philip Sharp?
No. It was a guy in 2014, I think.
Oh, okay. So yeah, way ahead of his time. Anyways.
Yeah.
The points of resemblance are numerous and striking. The claim to a supernatural revelation mediated by an angel. The abrogation of previous revelations by later and more convenient ones. Hint, hint. The embodiment of the revelations in an inspired book. The eclectic character of the system, which is compounded of Jewish, heathenish, and all sorts of sectarian Christian elements. The intense fanaticism, good lord, and heroic endurance of the early Mormons amidst violent abuse and persecution from state to state, till they found a refuge in the desert of Utah Territory, which they turned into a garden. The missionary zeal is sending apostles to distant lands and importing proselytes to their El Dorado of saints from the ignorant population of England, Wales, Norway, Germany, and Switzerland. The union of religion, with civil government in direct opposition to the American separation of church and state, the institution of polygamy, and in defiance of the social order of Christian civilization. Boom, boom, boom.
Every
By the way,
point you can find Mormonism, you can find in Islam. It's
pretty
just
much.
More American,
Which, let me actually, the American Muhammad.
Which, by the way, is a book, like a book length
Don't do it.
engaging on that context.
Don't do it. Don't do it yet. Don't beat me to it. Because that's actually what I'm about to show. So,
All right.
Here it is right here. The American Muhammad. Joseph Smith, founder of Mormonism. So this is by Alvin Schmidt is the name. And pretty much, let's see. In The American Muhammad, Alvin Schmidt has undertaken the challenging but informative task of documenting, discussing, and analyzing over 70 parallels that exist between Joseph Smith. Oops. There we go. Okay. Between Joseph Smith and Muhammad. So he cites valid arguments why parallels between noteworthy individuals in history need to be studied in order to understand why they engaged in similar acts that left major marks in history. This fascinating book provides many facts not commonly known about Joseph Smith and Muhammad and will help readers see and understand how the teachings of these two men contradict biblical Christianity. So, with that being the case, Rob is right there with these guys, pretty much. I'll go ahead and say it. Everybody was thinking it. I'll go ahead and say it. Robert Rowe is right there with these guys, demonstrating how if Muhammad is a prophet, then Joseph Smith is a prophet.
Yeah, we should all become Mormons. Joseph Smith is the seal of the prophets. It looks like the Mormons are right all along. So
he's the final messenger.
Yep.
So, but going back, but yeah. Bring it back. Let's get serious. Okay. Let's go. Gather up. Let's go.
No, J.J. Abrams is the final prophet.
What's up?
J.J. Abrams is the final prophet.
Oh, yeah. Good luck.
I'm being very, very facetious now.
I know. Somebody was like, what was that sound? Come on, people. That was my alert. It's like, whoop. So, anyways, just had to share that real quick. But anyways. Oh, by the way, somebody was like, Joseph Smith ripped off Islam to Masonic Temple Gnostic practices. Which, interesting. Masonic Temple Gnostic practices.
Yeah, he was a Mason.
No, I know, but then Muhammad, where did he get the stories of the biblical characters?
And that is the question that I want to tackle myself in the episodes to come. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a deep dive into scholarship, tease out the best connections we can make. And I haven't seen this done by anyone yet on specifically on YouTube. So David Wood and all are fantastic. They've done a great job analyzing psychologically and Oop.
I think you're breaking up, Rob.
You there now?
Yeah, I think you're still breaking up. Chat, let me know. Is it
Back?
me? Yeah, chat. Everybody in the chat, let me know if it's Rob or if it's me that's breaking up right now.
It's definitely me and Steve
Yeah, you're still breaking up.
Is it better now?
Try something. Oh, okay. Somebody's like, Rob has a delay in audio. It's Rob. Okay, yeah. Actually, no. I don't have an issue with that at all. So
Yeah, it must
people,
be
I mean, because yeah, somebody was like, "Are you okay with people re-uploading your videos?" Not at all. No, I don't mind. People do it. People. I mean, I'm literally pretty much uploading these videos that we're going over on here. So no, I don't mind at all.
I should be back.
Yeah. Kay of Succo Films is a close friend of mine. She does indeed have a terrific Cockney wit. Yeah. If Kay is Kay the sorry, just off track here. Is Kay I'm trying to remember which one Kay is. Is that the woman who's on Oh, okay. Well, hello there. Cherokee Gypsy. Nice to meet you. I'm an admin in the Succo Discord and mod on Succo and K channel, which is cool because I actually just saw that Succo, they just broke like 101,000 followers. So shout out to them. Oh, okay, so she is the redhead sister. Okay, that's who I was thinking it was. So that's cool. Yeah, she is awesome. I love watching her. She is witty and she is like she doesn't give no crap. Like she's like the woman is like you ever get on her bad side, she just like if I feel like she's gonna backhand them for back talking her. Like, don't you say that to me, like good old American women sometimes do. Not all, not all. Just saying. But anywho, but yeah, so bringing it back again. I'm getting distracted
Right.
by everybody in the comments. Those throw me off. American Muhammad. So many similarities with that. Yeah, and so the Gnostic idea. Yeah, so what you have coming up is
Yeah. So
yeah.
I'm going to tackle how did he? Because I gave a hint of it with respect in the first episode with the Nestorian monk and the Syrian Christian engagements that he had as a boy. And so if you have Gnostic elements in the Quran, like for example Jesus with clay bird, big red flag over there.
Oh yeah.
I can't prove this yet. This is why I'm working on it at the moment, and I'm going to put it out there as in other words, I want the videos to be critiqued by Muslims. So episode 1, I want a Muslim to look at it and tell me if I've erred in any way, and if I have, then great. Then you can make a video and go, see, Rob has made an error here. But if you can't prove an error, because when I put that episode together, none of it is from me. All of it is from the scholarship about Muhammad. And I just paraphrased it.
So in other words, Rob can never be
critique
debunked.
it, then you bet your bottom dollar that I'm going to do have the same engagement with episode 2, 3, 4, all the way through. And then the vital question you have to ask yourself is, why be a Muslim?
Okay.
Clay
Mic drop.
Nabil's
Let me get that real quick. All right, so share screen.
I think Nabil just nails it as a fitting
Let's
end to the whole episode.
Let me fix that. There we go.
Yep, unmute.
Let me rewind it a little bit. All right, let me make us small and him bigger. There we go.
That's fine. Yeah.
Let us know if you.
These are just some stories of honestly, hundreds. When I was a Muslim, I found hundreds of these kinds of stories that I thought, no way, that's not my prophet. That's not possible. He couldn't have done that. But the sources are full of these kinds of accounts. The one that made me most turned off to Islam, this is the one that I found most unconscionable, is actually not just found in Sirah and not just found in Hadith, it's found in the Quran. Chapter 4, verse 24 of the Quran says, allowed for you, Muslims, are women, and not women already married, but your wives and those whom your right hands possess. It's a fairly enigmatic, cryptic verse of the Quran. What does that mean? Allowed for you, not women already married, but your wives and those whom your right hands possess. When we turn to the Hadith, we find out. Those whom your right hands possess are captive women. We just talked about captive boys who were beheaded. Captive women were taken and turned into what we find out through this verse and through Hadith are sex slaves. Basically, they are made to have sex with Muslim men. That's why this verse says, allowed for you are those whom your right hands possess and your wives. But interestingly, this verse says, you're not allowed to have women who are already married except those whom your right hands possess. What is that about? Turns out, according to the Hadith, that there was one occasion where Muslims took people captive. Among the people they took captive were men that they were going to sell into slavery and their wives. Now, these were women whom Muslim men possessed, and they were wondering whether or not they could use them for sex. But their husbands were still alive and they were still captive. And so they asked Muhammad, what shall we do about these women? And that's when this verse of the Quran came. Allowed for you are women not already married except those whom your right hands possess. In other words, Muhammad said, go ahead. It doesn't matter if they're married. It doesn't matter if their husbands are right here. Your right hands possess them. They are your captives. You can use them for sex. When I saw that as a Muslim, I was flabbergasted. I didn't know what to do with that. I at first said, this is impossible. I started running from imam to imam, asking them to explain this. How could this be possible? And a lot of them denied it. They said, no, that's not what it means. But they couldn't tell me what it did mean. The fact of the matter was, this was so woven into the sources on Muhammad's life, you couldn't deny it. Here's the point that I want to bring all the session back to. These are the sources on Muhammad's life. If you try to take portions of these sources out because you don't like them, then you're basically being arbitrary. You're creating a Muhammad that you want. To be fair, to accurately understand who Muhammad was, you have to take the good with the bad. There's no way to cut one portion out and leave the other in. No razor can dissect between the good Muhammad and the bad Muhammad.
Nope.
You have to take them together. And when we start taking out these verses where we say, oh, no, this can't possibly be true, we eviscerate the very sources by which we know Muhammad's life. So that leads me to the major point here. Muslims have a dilemma. I had a dilemma once upon a time. Either we know virtually nothing about Muhammad because the sources are so bad, or they say all these negative things, or what we know about him leads us to conclude that he is not a prophet of God.
Ta-da.
And by the
And
way, earlier in that
and that's the
episode, when he says,
I was gonna say, and that's the way the cookie crumbles. Another reference to good old Jim. Anyways, go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, so when he says we either the sources are so bad, so Nabil actually does a good job doing a very quick comparison between what's the earliest source to describe the life of Muhammad, and it comes somewhere like 150, 160 years after Muhammad. Yes, the Quran, like for example, the Birmingham manuscript and so on, that can go back to pretty much the decade of like, in other words, in real time when he's living. But which in itself verifies the historicity of this guy named Muhammad. If he's the one, because don't forget, the Quran exists because Muhammad exists, according to Islam, like because the Quran is Allah's speech literally
No,
coming
Rob.
out of Muhammad's lips.
No,
right?
Rob. The Quran has always existed from the beginning. It's what Jesus taught. It's what the prophets taught. You're wrong.
Okay.
Inshallah.
But
Inshallah, la la la.
yeah. But so that being said, I affirm the historicity of Muhammad in that sense. But you still don't really know. So this is the whole point of like the people like Robert Spencer and so on. You still don't really know if that Birmingham manuscript of the Quran comes from this guy named Muhammad, because the earliest sources about him, because the Quran doesn't talk about him, it mentions him only 4 times, but the early sources about him come over 150 years after his existence. How curious with Jesus, the sources are not even within 20 to 60 years, all within the 1st century. If he dies in 33 AD, you're talking within months of his death. The creed, 1 Corinthians 15 creed is within months of his death.
Yep. And I actually go as far to say about that creed, virtually immediately after
As
Jesus
James
Christ.
Dunn would say, yeah.
Well, because if you think about it, if I can't, well, go ahead and finish what you say, because I want to pinpoint, I want to make a point on that real quick, if I may, because I hold to the view, like virtually that's immediately, a couple of months after the crucifixion. How long was he on earth after the crucifixion, after the resurrection? 40 days, right?
Yeah.
How long is a couple of months?
That's a month and a bit. So a month and.
So virtually immediately, right at the day of Pentecost, literally.
Yeah, no, I would say, because that was exactly that. I mean, Pentecost is 40 plus days after the crucifixion event, and
oh yeah,
and Peter quotes Joel as a prophecy to say, hey, like the sun darkening and the moon turning to blood and all, like 7 weeks ago that happened. Particular Passover had a blood moon rising. It was dark, and there was an earthquake, and yeah.
Yep. Sorry, I went off a little bit just because I just want to make that point. Sorry.
Yeah, like Ibn Ishaq's biography, yes. Which, by the way, that biography was then, as Nabil points out in that video, which I didn't include in the episode, but he says that you have his biography, but the biography is fragmented. The biography was then preserved in fragmented form, not in complete form, in fragmented form by another guy after him. And so then whatever is preserved preserves all this horrible bad stuff. So it's like, okay, it's an argument from silence to then say that what is not preserved is all the good stuff. Regardless, the point is there's all this horrible, evil stuff, even if you preserve the good stuff. When you compare Jesus, like I could happily see Muhammad fitting right in line with some of the horrors that you see in biblical prophets, or even kings like David, when he goes and kills Bathsheba's husband. Yeah, and he goes out of his way to write Psalm 51 in regards to that sin. So Muhammad is no different to all these men who failed miserably and sinned miserably. And Paul points it out in Romans 3. Jesus no Christian for the first 500 years of the church, no Christian could fault Jesus. In fact, it would be blasphemous and against the scriptures to equate Jesus as one who promotes, like slavery or pedophilia, or like it's okay to marry a 6-year-old, and take every feature of Muhammad and put that on the action, put that on the lips of Jesus, and I bet you Christians would be horrified. Just do a thought experiment. Just be like, everything Muhammad did, put it on Jesus, put Jesus's face on that, and ask a Christian if Jesus did that. And if a Christian goes, like a random person on the street, and the person goes, no, he didn't do that. That would be weird if he did. But that's the point. The fact that they have a knee-jerk reaction that Jesus, no, Jesus can't do that, goes to show that that is a wrong thing to do. You don't do that. But yet Muslims like to argue, oh well, it was according to the culture of the day. Then what you're telling me is Muhammad is fitting the so-called culture of the day. How ironic. And Allah is stuck. He's this Arabian deity that's stuck in 7th century Arabia.
Yeah.
He can't
And by the way,
transcend the culture.
and I just wanted to bring this up to Undeveloped Team. He literally was like, should I follow his example and eat a poison meal? If you want to die in 3 years, go for it. But I do not recommend that. That's just funny. And then just want to say, see you to Nemesis. He said, thanks, Hunter, Rob, and Chad. It's been a great show. It's 3:39 a.m. He's tired. Good Lord, where are you at in the world? He has to be. Good Lord. Anyways, I don't even want to find out. Go to bed. That's what I have to keep.
In the morning.
I was about to say, yeah. You, Rob.
No, Hunter, we're doing a good thing. We have we're debunking flat Earth. 3:40 in the morning, 9:40 in the morning, and you are
8:40 in the morning or in the afternoon.
Look at all these
In the morning.
time zones. Oh my gosh, on a flat Earth.
But it's because of where the moon's in and the stuff. Anyways, and I just want to say real quick, shout out to Luke. He says, "Hello, Hunter. Good seeing you, buddy." And yeah, and let's see. What the heck? Oh, okay. Sorry. At first, I read that wrong. I wouldn't follow Jesus if he was a pedophile, but thankfully he isn't. Amen. Okay, and then hold on, let me see. Not Delulu. He said he sent me an email. Let me look. I'm looking for it. I don't see it yet. He was gonna send me an email where apparently Joseph Smith. What was it that you said? Let me go back real quick.
Yeah, he boasted that he's basically
he compared himself to Muhammad.
Yeah.
I'm sure he could. Yeah. Okay, hold on. If Delulu, hopefully, did I even send you the right email? I don't know if I did. Everything New Testament at gmail.com. Yep, that should be it. But yeah, but I mean, so that's why I say, like, if you guys want the whole.
I need a haircut, by the way.
Oh, checking your spam. Okay, let me check on my spam. Definitely go watch that specifically. Nope, not in my spam. I don't know where it's at. It may take a minute for it to get to me, but that's okay. Either way, hopefully we'll get it. And there is Luke. Hey, Luke.
Hello.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Ça va bien.
Estaba bien. Ah, okay. ¿Y tú hablas español?
No.
Oh, well, that answers it. And then there's just one. Okay, well, if nobody else is going to use nobody else is going to use their camera, I guess it's just me then. There we go. All right. But anyways, yeah. But yeah, so go figure. American Muhammad, Joseph Smith. And then you have the Middle Eastern Joseph Smith. Write a book on that, people. The Middle Eastern Joseph Smith. No, the Middle Eastern Mr. Smith. Like Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Oh, yeah.
The middle Mr. Smith in the East.
Mm.
East side. I don't know. Just I'm trying something stupid.
Be subtle.
All right. Sent it again. Ah, I got it. Oh, it's a YouTube video. Okay, let's see. All right. Let me. All right, let's take a look at this real quick. Appreciate it. Shout out to not. It is not Delulu. But let me share this real quick. So, former prophet Joseph Smith. All right, can you guys see this? let's see here. And the speech given in the public
Square at Far West, Missouri, October 14th, 1838, Mormon prophet Joseph Smith oddly compared himself to Muhammad. He said, "I will be to this generation a second Muhammad, whose motto entreating for peace was the Alquran, or the sword. So shall it be with us. Joseph Smith or the sword."
Real quick, I just want to make note to the reference. Speech given at the public square at Far West, Missouri, October 8th, 1838. No Man Knows My History, second edition. So there's your reference there. So thank you for that, because it actually gets a reference.
Why did the founder of Mormonism, a self-proclaimed believer that Christ is our Savior, compare himself with the founder of Islam?
Subscribe, leave a comment. So hey, if you haven't done that, that's a good that's a good way to go into it. If you haven't yet, go ahead, subscribe, leave a comment if you like these conversations, and go ahead and hit the like button if you haven't already. Also follow my dude Robert Rowe, Sentinel Apologetics, if you haven't yet. I don't know who's all here, who's been here, who hasn't been here. So yeah, go do that. If
You ending the
you
stream?
Huh?
You ending the stream?
No, I'm just saying go do
Okay.
that, because it's, what does it say right here, Rob? What does it say?
It
does it say?
says, let's have a beer with Hunter.
It does not say that. It says subscribe, leave a comment. Get your facts straight. Anywho. And then yeah. So yeah, no, that's actually really good. The fact that it even, I mean, literally, there is even the source, and I would love. Hold on. So I'm gonna like that so that I can save it here. And I wonder if anybody. I need to get that specific quote itself. So if I can get the link or the actual second edition of that, the actual quote, that'd be great, because I did not know that Joseph Smith compared himself to Muhammad, which is ironic because there are people who say that, from a Christian perspective, Muhammad and Joseph Smith both have that same spirit, of when you see the comparison. So it's interesting to see that literally Joseph Smith compare himself. Somebody said it was said during the Mormon War in Missouri in 1838. By the way, I don't know, Rob, are you still here? I don't know if you left
Yeah,
me.
I'm still here.
Okay, do you by any chance still have the conversation we had with those Mormons or Latter-day Saints? Sorry, I know not to call them Mormons. People, just for the record, don't call them Mormons. They're Latter-day Saints. That's what they like to be called. It's the Book of Mormon.
I'll have
The
to
Book of
check.
Mormons.
I think so.
Because when I went to go look for it on your channel, I couldn't find it. So
Yeah, I thought, I don't know.
yeah,
I'm
but
a perfectionist, so I tend to just remove things that I know I can do a better job in.
how can you do it? You can't repeat history. So how do you do a better job at that?
Be a
Come
George
on, man.
Lucas and add on top of your
Oh my
original work. And
Yeah, with the
Make a
Force.
cult. Make a cult. Yeah, that's how. Yeah, say
Heiser
I'm gonna.
rights.
I'm gonna. Yeah, yes. Yeah, we're gonna copy another religion. Let's remake it. Let's make a cult version, even more cult.
And it's called the Middle Eastern of Mr. Smith. Middle Eastern Mr. Smith. But with that being the case, Rob, do you have anything else you'd want to say? Because I might be ending the stream here soon. We've been going over it for about 2 hours and 20 minutes. So
I think I was going to say something. Wait, it slipped my mind. Basically,
Someone played the Jeopardy. Someone played Jeopardy.
got this
what was I going to say?
little Oblivion thinking music from like Skyrim or something. That's what it sounds like.
This Skyrim?
No, it's
I
not.
like Skyrim though. I like Skyrim though.
There's that. Yeah, well, the thing is, it's like, I like this one. I prefer this one.
That sounds like the sadness of like the bad ending of a game.
This one?
Yeah.
That'd be alright. It's kind of more flowy. So, but anyways, yeah, go ahead and say what you're gonna say, and then guys, just want to say, thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for chilling. everybody who has come in and come out and, you know, been there, done that. I love interacting with you guys, as you can tell. So I appreciate you guys. But yeah, Rob, go ahead and say what you were going to say. And then,
Yeah.
I'll head out.
What you know may not be so. I'll leave it with that.
Plant that seed and let it grow.
Ooh, y'all are shooting bars like next to each other. Which you, well, hold on, hold on. Now you got to say it all together. Say it again. Say that one more time for the people in the chat.
Rob, you go first.
What you know may not be so.
And plant the seed and let it grow.
Boom. And on that note, that's some good stuff. It's like, yeah, that's a good show. Anyway, but good stuff, guys. Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it.
Never mind. This is not sad music. Never mind. It's not. You're right.
Yeah, it's kind of more chill. But all right, guys, I am going to end it here, though. So again, like, subscribe if you haven't. Go check out my boy. Oh, wrong side. Rob over here.
Go check out this dude, yeah.
Well, they're here now. So
I mean, you are checking him out, but still, keep checking him out.
my wife checks me out. Anyways. I'm married. My wife does check me out, so I can say that. But anyways, God bless you guys. Love you all. Thanks for hanging out. And, you know, we'll have more of these for sure. So try to definitely get this, you know, get the conversation going, get the awareness out for this stuff. Remember, just like, you know, we started off with this conversation. This whole video was about Christian persecution that's happening in the Middle East. The things that are happening over in Pakistan are horrible. I would encourage you guys, if anything, definitely pray for those people. Pray for those who hate us, because remember, they hated Christ first. And with that, love you guys. Be blessed, because I believe, you know, you were highly favored by myself. Love you all. I highly favor everybody who's even here. So I just want you guys to have a good night. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Have a good one. And if I can do that, then I can go here and see you guys later.
Sure.